Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation of that message, the first one, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a man and I am currently living in an X country. Please do not mention the name of the country where I am staying because I want people to help me just as a normal human being without being emotional, because they will say that, so why are you doing these things in our country? Why don't you return back to your own country? But as normal human beings, I want you to feel sorry for me, because what happened to me, it can also happen to you as well. So this is my story. Let me take you back. When we were still very young, life was very difficult, especially for my parents. We had no money and we could not go ahead going to school, just like what had happened to my father. Growing up, we were told that my father, he was very intelligent. There were people, even from the ruling party in our country, that wanted to assist our father with a scholarship because of the way that he was very bright. But because of the situations that he found himself under, then they blocked him because they did not want to see him succeed. These were his relatives. They did not want him to succeed in life, and then they chose the twin brother because my father, he had a twin brother. So they chose the twin brother so that he can be the one to be helped. And as we are speaking right now, the majority of our relatives, they are in Canada. They went because of what happened to my father's twin brother when he was helped by some of the people that comes from our province, that were politicians from our province. Instead of them assisting my father just like what they wanted to do, they ended up helping his brother because of the relatives. They said that my father, he did not deserve a scholarship that will take him to Canada. So my father, he then dropped out of school because he was heartbroken and he was a depressed man until the day when I sacrificed him. My father, I also sacrificed him, and this ended his life because when he realized that I was also about to take his life, my father died before I could stab him with a knife spiritually. When he saw this, he was shocked and he started crying. He died whilst there were tears that were flowing down his face because of what he had seen. He never expected that his own son was going to do this, just like what his relatives had done to him, to betray him and to stab him in the back, like the way that I stabbed him in the back. So after my father had passed away, that was when I was told that things had gotten messed up because God had risen from his throne, something that was not expected in a ritual. And if God had risen from his throne, then his judgment was going to be quick. So we did another ritual, and in this ritual I left my soul. My spirit was left and it wanders around looking for me back in the country where I come from. So this is how this ritual was performed. We went to this other graveyard. It is called Mbudzi Cemetery. They started around 7 p.m. to dig up a grave, and this grave that we dug up, the person had been buried that very same week. We reached the coffin, and then later on, that was when they took me to the same graveyard, and they took me to the same grave, and I was instructed by them healer that I was supposed to get into that grave. It was a very hard thing to do. For the smell, it was just too much, even though I was wearing a mask, but still you could smell it, that it was too smelly. And the body that I was going to lie on top of, it was the body of a person that I never knew, and this person was already decaying, but still it had to be done. I had to be joined with the spirit of death in order for God's wrath not to reach to me. So I went in the grave and I slept on top of that dead person. And after a couple of minutes, that was when I was brought out of the grave. When I was brought out of the grave, I felt something being removed from my body, and I was told that whatever that had been removed from my body, this was the soul that is given to you when you are born, your spirit. So now that my spirit had been removed from me, I was supposed to leave Zim with immediate effect and to go to a country that is far away. And when I go to that country, then if I will ever return back to Zim, the moment that I step the soil in Zim, the country where I come from, then I am going to die instantly, because I am going to be located by God's judgment, and my spirit is going to return back to me, and I am going to die. And when I die, I know the place where I am going to be headed to. I am going straight to hell because of the rituals that I did. For when my father found out that this is what I was doing, I was about to sacrifice him, he cried out unto God and said, "Even the children that you have given to me, they have risen against me to take my life." So this was too much, I guess, for the grace of God, such that God even rose up from his throne. So there is a judgment that is against me, a judgment from God. So me being here in this country where I am, in order to keep on living, this is what I have to do. I regularly go to this other mortuary. This man that is the owner of that mortuary, I am the one that assisted him. It was more like a business rescue for his mortuary. It was already going broke. He was operating at a loss. So I approached several mortuaries in this country where I am staying, until I finally managed to make a deal with the man that owns the mortuary where I regularly go and I perform the rituals. So these rituals that I perform is that I have to go and I sleep inside that mortuary, but the way that we do it is that they remove the body that will be into one of the fridge lockers, and they remove it and they can even put it on the table, and then I have to sleep on top of that corpse, and I sleep on top of that dead body for the rest of the night. I can be facing downwards or facing upwards, and I will be alone with that dead body throughout the night. And when the sun is about to go up, they quickly take the dead body and they lock it away again. So these rituals has to be done constantly in order for me to be able to stay connected to the spirit of death. So these are some of the rituals that I have been doing in this country where I am staying. The other things that I do, I can walk around, and if I find a person that is really poor, I take that person back to my place. If it is a woman, if I can convince that woman and I can sleep with that woman in my house, in this room that I dedicated to the spirit of death, so then death will also follow that person that I would have slept with. I have also slept with men in my life. These men, I regularly meet them in the street. Some of them, they will be looking for a job, and I offer them a job, and along the way when I am taking them to my house, I can offer them money. It is just that I can't tell you the value of the money that I give to them, because I do not want people to get emotional, since I am doing these things not in my country of birth. I do want to return back to my own country, but the problem is that once I return back to Zim, then God's judgment is going to locate me. And what terrifies me is that I was told that I will also end up wandering about in this same country where I am staying. It is not going to be all rosy. One day I am going to lose my mind. Until the day that I die, I am going to be running mad. So it is a terrifying thought. I feel as if I am a dead person already. I can't go forward and I can't move backwards. Therefore, I am looking for serious advice. If there are pastors that are willing to assist me, but I do not want pastors that will end up taking advantage of me. I want people that will be able to assist me without demanding money from me or demanding things like being connected to the same traditional healer that assisted me. I am craving to live a normal life like most of you do. Sometimes I can't even go to bed and sleep in peace, because when I wake up, I'll start to ask myself a lot of things like, if I die right now, what is going to happen to my soul? Because there was one man who once told me that you should find someone that can assist you, because do you know that we are going to live for all eternity? It does not matter if you are going to be tormented forever. There is no death after you die. So I'm scared of that. I made so many mistakes in my life, and I made these mistakes because of the situations that I found myself in, and sometimes I blame myself, but there are times when I feel like I can just give up, because what else was I supposed to do when I did these rituals? It was all because of poverty. I wanted to pull myself out of poverty, but I never knew that the person that I was going to sacrifice, it was a man that had been betrayed by his relatives, and now a man that was going to be betrayed by his own son. So this is what has brought me to your channel, and I need advice and I need help. If there is any pastor that you can connect me with, please, you can tell me and I can look for that pastor. Even if you tell me just a name, I can try to go and look for that pastor so that I can get prayed for. And when you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. He was saying that he is afraid of being judged. That is why he has decided not to tell us from where he is sending his confession from. So let us try to give him advice in the comment section. Then there is another message that I'm going to be sharing with you. Did you hear about that accident that happened? This other bus that was traveling to South Africa, it was still on the Zimbabwean side. Did you hear about that accident? It is quite a sad story. It said that the driver passed away on the spot, and the son of this other big socialite also passed away on that spot. It is a very sad story indeed. This always reminds me about that other brother of ours that was bragging even before this festive season had started, and he said that there is a lot of blood that is going to be spilled this year for these other rituals that they did. And let me share with you this other confession that I shared on our other channel. So let me give you a narration and a translation as well, now that we are talking about these accidents. The message that I received that I'm going to be narrating for you, it goes on like this. The brother was saying that he came to South Africa, and him and his wife, they are working as professionals. When he came to South Africa, he started working until he got his permanent citizenship, and then his wife also started going to college, and she started working as a nurse. And when they saw that financially they were able to achieve whatever that they wanted, that was when they thought of starting a business. So they wanted to start a business, but they did not know what kind of a business that they wanted to start in South Africa. Then one day they had a very bright idea. They then said that since in this province where we are staying, there is no bus that can bring people from Zim and also take people back to Zim. So then they said that let us be the first ones to start our own company where we can have a bus that will come and bring people to the main town in the province where we are staying, and we can start to make money, because a lot of people used to travel from their province first, and then they would go to Joburg, and then they will get a bus that will take them to Zim. So it was a lot of work for the people that came from Zim, and most of the people, they'll end up getting robbed in Joburg because they had no idea about navigating Johannesburg. So a lot of people were getting robbed of their valuable possessions and the money that they would have saved when they wanted to return back to Zim. So after they had that bright idea, they then said, what are we going to do? They started going around visiting different dealerships, and then they found out that buying a bus, it is a process and it is very expensive. So then they approached their bank, and then they said that we want to buy a bus, but are you able to help us to finance that bus? So their bank then told them that even though they had a good credit score, but the problem was that to be financed for a commercial vehicle, it was very difficult on your personal name. And in order for you to be financed, you needed to have a company that is registered. So this was going to take a very long time, because that company had to be operational for a period of time before you can access the loan as well. So what they then decided to do was that they thought of this other relative of theirs that was working at this other big bus rank them in Zim that is called Roadport, where most of the buses that travel to South Africa will be ranked. So then they asked him if it was possible for him to find out if there was anyone that was willing to sell any of their bus if they wanted to upgrade their fleet, because they had saved a little bit of money. So then he started speaking, their relatives started talking with other bus owners until they were then given contacts of this other man who owned some buses, and then they had a negotiation. They spoke with him and they struck a deal, and then they decided to get into partnership with him. They gave that man the money that they had, and they started to operate together. As they were operating one day, the man said that whilst they were having a conversation man to man, he was then told that as long as they believed in different religions, because they were Christians and their business partner was into doing these rituals, and that man then said that as long as you are doing this Christian religion thing of yours and I am worshiping my ancestors, it means that we are not going to be able to succeed in this business, because you need to be strong spiritually, otherwise you are going to fail in this business. So then he said that he was taken to this other place in Mozambique. He did not know that he was being taken to a traditional healer. When they arrived in Mozambique, that was when he realized that he was taken to a traditional healer, and his business partner started performing the rituals with the help of that traditional healer. He was also instructed to do the same, but then he disagreed and he said that he was unable to participate in all of those things. So his business partner then said, if you want us to work together, then you need to cooperate. He was supposed to be given a baboon, but he refused. So this baboon, it was said that when the bus is traveling, the baboon will be on top of that bus as it is traveling. And sometimes this baboon, it can also cause some accidents. And when these accidents happen, then the baboon will start to drink the blood of the people that would have died on that accident scene. And then they decided to let go of that business, even though they had lost some money when they invested into the business and they did not get any profit out of it. But then they chose peace, and they said that peace is far much better than to continue to work with these people that do all of these rituals. So that is another message that I received from our dear brother, who was saying that he was also involved in this business. So that was the message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. And another short narration, there was also one of our listeners who said that after they learned that this other bus owner who owns several buses but he stays in America, his buses, they travel from Zim and they bring people, and they travel back to Zim as well with people that do work in South Africa. The rituals that he do is that sometimes he travel to South Africa and he goes into the N1 and he just puts some coins onto the road. So this is what protects his bus, but sometimes his buses, they can have accidents as well, and it is caused by those coins that he put into the road. He regularly flies from America and he comes to South Africa to perform those rituals. So it is very strange and it is very sad. And wherever a bus has had an accident, a lot of people will die. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll be back with another episode.